Hello everyone, my name is Sekadi Phayane-Shakhane and I am the SAICE CEO, and I just really want to welcome you to the first edition of our SAICE CEO podcast. And I am currently here at Jones Wagener with Jabulile Msiza, who's the chairperson of Jones Wagener, and it is an absolute pleasure for me to be here. Jabu, welcome.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here with you. I'm excited for this podcast.
How were your holidays?
Short. It always feels short. Even though I took off from the 10th of December, and at that stage it felt like it's going to be a very long break. Of course, you make a lot of plans and you fill up the days a bit too much, but it was necessary. It's only such a good time because not only are you on break, but the rest of the world. So you don't feel the pressure to be checking in and checking up on work, and you can be fully present with your family and just be where you are fully. So I really enjoyed that.
Oh, that is awesome, Jabu. Today we're going to be talking about cross-sectional collaboration. As SAICE, it's very important for us to be in touch with our members, to be in touch with the industry, and we know that companies like Jones Wagener play a very vital role in ensuring that we can be able to collaborate and give better infrastructural solutions to the industry. I'm just going to be taking you through a variety of questions and really trying to get into your mind in terms of collaboration and where your thoughts are at, where Jones Wagener's thoughts are at, how you collaborate with your stakeholders, and what you see for us within the industry in 2025. Maybe give a brief history, because I mean, this is really personal. It's really about you as a leader within the industry, about your experience, where you come from, how you became what you are currently, and why you're sitting in the chair that you are currently.
I guess it's a long story, and I consider it a good news story. I think we've spoken before to say that we all have a story to tell, and it may resonate with someone. And I believe that part of the leadership in terms of me ending up in the civil engineering industry started at home. It started at home with my sister changing the course that I wanted to study. I was absolutely convinced I'm going to be a doctor. That's what I'm going to be. And she said to me, you know what, I don't think that's going to work out for you. At that stage, she was a legal advisor for a engineering company. I guess we can't say who. And she said, you know, I work a lot with those guys, and there's something about them that sort of fits who you are. And I think you do better in that space than in the medical space. So it was leadership at home.
Wow.
And you can imagine, I had just lost my mom. My dad is not around due to other reasons. That was the person who was my guardian, taking care of me. And so it was a strong voice that spoke into my life at that stage and led me to civil engineering. And at varsity, it was leadership. It was leadership from lecturers who saw potential, who got me connected to a company like Jones Wagener when my bursary, my bursar at that point was not providing the growth and opportunity that I needed. And it was through that leadership then the connection was made. And I had a bursary at Jones Wagener. And starting here in I would say a center of excellence, where there are people who are just not so good at what they do, but are willing to share the knowledge, are willing to grow you. Of course, I mean, it takes attitude, growth mindset, etc., to tap into those opportunities. But I came into an environment of good leadership and guidance that then quickly made me be able to learn, interact with clients, professionally register, and grow into leadership position. So there's been a golden thread of leadership throughout my life. And even as it stands, you know, as chairman of Jones Wagener, what do they say? Every boss has a boss. There's still great leadership from our CEO, Dr. Pierre van den Berg. It's leads by example.
Yes.
Genuine, authentic leadership. We have a great board of directors of 5, and in that group, great leadership. So leadership is the theme consistently throughout. Not only to be one, but to be led.
I love that. And I think also leadership is the key to collaboration. And one thing I've picked up, having interacted a lot with Jones Wagener staff, is that sense of servant leadership, that sense of humility. I mean, great accolades, but still so people-centered. And I love that about that. What do you think, though, and I know you also occupy other roles within the industry, besides Jones Wagener, on various committees and the like, and what do you think have been the biggest barriers to collaboration across the sectors, and how has your leadership or the leadership of those around you helped you overcome this?
Yeah, I guess a lot of it is the belief that you can't add value, or you see a system is running and you think, wow, the people have been there for long. They've got all this institutional knowledge and background. Who am I, this small fish in the pond, to now come and impact change? Not realizing the power that we have in terms of seeing things differently, bringing different perspectives, bringing a diverse voice, right? Because sometimes, and not to anyone's fault, people can become cliquey and they start thinking alike. And there is a sense of, it's called this intrinsic bias, where they don't even realize maybe they're being biased. It's just what they've become. And when you have then a diverse team, fresher ideas, younger ideas, then you can offer better solutions. So it's just, the barrier is just breaking into long created systems and committees, what people have been serving there from the time you were nappies, right? And feeling then intimidated to be able to add value. But once you start, then you soon realize and quickly see that you have a seat at the table, and for a reason.
I love that. So it's almost like having a sense of purpose, and moving the focus away from what you do not have to what you can be able to contribute. I love that.
Reframing.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. Can you share examples or any success stories from your life and your experience where you've had effective collaboration within the sector?
Yeah, so I mean, there's many examples. I think the examples that come easier are from technical work, projects, for example. So I specialize in the design of waste management facilities. So design, construction management, commissioning, and then monitoring throughout lifetime, as well as then in the end rehab and closure. And to look at that and all the role players that need to be involved in making this a success. It is such a complex problem in that no one body is sufficient to provide all the services required to make that work. So as much as we may engineer, as much as we may plan, there's other legal matters. There is sustainability, environmental matters. There are mechanical, electrical systems and piping that really need collaboration from multiple parties in order to serve the client and give this outcome. In the industry, for example, with the work I do for Msiza, I've realized that because Msiza is consulting engineers, all sorts, not just civil. And I've just seen the value in mixing with our colleagues in the electrical mechanical space, and then talking about people and skills, and realizing that as much as we do different work, we have similar challenges with regards to developing the young and the whole engineer, keeping them in the industry, growing them in the industry, and then sitting together and figuring out how we're going to structure this for the entire industry requires that collaborative effort.
Yes.
That brings new ideas, combined resources in order then to develop policy, to advocate for industry, and to move forward, to grow together, as SAICE says. So yeah, there are plenty of examples, both in the project space, in the managing people space, in the running of a company space. It's this many collaborative efforts there.
Basically, collaboration is an essential ingredient to grow professionally in business and within yourself. How do you think effective collaboration will look like in 2025? And how can we as leaders from various sectors collaborate more across various sectors?
Yeah, I think the interesting part is that the world has become such a small space.
Right.
It has become so small. We are not limited by geographic boundaries. We're not limited by technology. And the way I see it, we need to explore more of that international collaboration, just broadening our mindset in terms of possibilities. And also just realizing that as much as we may be seen as competitors, there is just so much more value add when we work together. The pie is big for all of us. And if we remove that sense of being competitors, but being industry partners, I feel in 2025 we can create more opportunities to further strengthen our bonds. We say that we are united in our diversity, and I feel like we can explore more of that in 2025 through all the different avenues that are created by SAICE, forums, networking opportunities, and other bodies. I feel if we come together, we can make the industry collectively better.
I love that. I think that's one of my passions, actually, and to be able to support our government leaders as well in ensuring that we turn, the infrastructural challenges that South Africa is facing currently into something that the future generations can be proud of. I'm really loving that. So, what are your expectations from learned societies like SAICE or other voluntary associations like Msiza and the like, in promoting growth in business and with individual civil engineering professionals? What do you think in terms of 2025 our focus should be to ensure that we are able to support the Jones and Wageners of this world, the Jabulile and Msizas who are leading these institutions, these organizations, to ensure that we have better professionals coming out in the industry?
Okay. I think first of all, let me say, you're doing such a great job.
Thank you. Thank you.
It has been such a joy to watch SAICE being visible and active and participating, not just in the consulting space, in the government space, multi-sectoral. So you are doing such a great job. All the branches, all the divisions, you can see that everyone is propelling this mission of SAICE. So what I'd like to say is more of what you've been doing, carry on that path. But to break it down, it's all about advocacy and representation. We need SAICE to be a regulatory influence, to speak for the industry, for us, in spaces that we may not be able to be present in. in your position, you have access to the powers that be, the ministers, the president. A Jabulile Msiza can call the president and say, hey, on behalf of the industry, can we have a coffee and discuss this? We would like SAICE to be in touch with the challenges we face, so that when SAICE is in those discussions, that they bring our matters to the powers that be. There's also public relations, the industry faces criticism if there's one maybe project or failure that goes wrong. Of course, a lot of it is catastrophic. We are designing and building infrastructure for civilians, and some of the consequences of failures is loss of life, and in terms like that, we require the support and the public relations to be handled in a body that understands us, is for us. Of course, there's policy development in order to be involved in formation or influencing policy that propel the industry. Of course, I expect that there'd be more networking and collaboration, events, conferences, where even our youngsters get an opportunity to speak and share what they're doing, and learn from each other. I think it's really more of the same, but just to have that place of belonging. As civil engineers, where we can just be and also be proud of what we're doing, be able to showcase that.
That is beautiful. Our unofficial motto is that we are a home for civil engineers, so we will continue doing that with the charge that you've given us. Jabu, I really appreciate it. I know one of your personal projects and passions is with the youth, and you mention it a lot as well in our conversation. I've seen that you have, is it a trust?
Yeah, we've got an educational trust.
Yeah, tell us more about that. I'm quite intrigued.
So it's such a fulfilling responsibility to be a trustee of the Jones Wagener Education Trust. And over the past 5 years, to have seen the impact on lives. We've had so many success stories, graduates who are becoming the first generation of graduates and their families. So the trust is formulated to support the Black female child who cannot afford further studies, to give them a better education. In the high school environment, we have collaborated with Ruta Sechaba, Kuro, through their Meridian schools, where we are taking deserving kids and giving them a chance of a better education through a Kuro school. And then we are seeing them through. We've got one of their Kuro students who started in high school and is now in her 5th year of medicine at UCT through the trust. So we support that, but we also then directly support other students who are going to university. We've got students studying law, teaching. We've had a teaching graduate. Last year, we also had a graduate in emergency medical services. We also support groups. Last year, we supported women in water and sanitation to support them with their registration problem, with their road to registration. So it's all about empowering and giving opportunity to get an education, but not only get an education, to excel in your profession. And the trust is not limited to civil engineering. You can see I've listed multiple different studies that the students do. But at Jones Wagener, we've got a bursary program that is specifically aimed for civil engineering, where we support undergraduates as well as postgraduates that are employed with us. So I'm also involved in that program. It's just education. I've seen what education has done in my life, and I want to share that. And it's such a privilege to be able to pursue that at Jones Wagener. And I'm eternally grateful for that. I came through this bursary program. And, you know, when you look back now, you're like, what would have happened if I didn't have someone bigger than me and pay for my fees, take me over? So it's really a joy and a service that I wish to continue doing for a while.
Wow. South Africa thanks you for your work and Jones Wagener in the industry and the way that you're building the African child. And I'm sure in future generations, you'll look back and think, wow, you know, your life was really used to impact, you know, the nation that we grew up in and the nation that has birthed us.
I pray so.
Yeah, so from SAICE, we're really grateful. We're grateful to just spend this time with you, just leaning from your wisdom and leaning from your presence, if I can put it that way. You know, I'm really blessed. Thank you very much for that, Jabu.
No, thank you.
And I think from my side, that is it. Thank you very much for joining us on our first podcast regarding collaboration, leadership, servant leadership, and the amazing work that some of our leaders are doing within the industry to ensure that we have a sustainable future within the country related to infrastructure. Thank you.